Please
That's
rise for
unfortunate.
pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of silence. Please be seated.
This time we'd ask for any citizens' input for agenda items only. Hearing none. A motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the Commissioners' public meeting minutes of Tuesday, February 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
A motion is needed to pay all county and liquid fuel payrolls as submitted by the Human Resource Office for payroll number 3 in the amount of $749,911.16 and payroll number 4 in the amount of $718,504.34.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion needed to pay all county and liquid fuel bills as submitted by the county controller in the amount of $5,226,156.16 from January 29, 2022 to February 25, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Announcements. A work session will be held on Tuesday, March 15, 2022, beginning at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Conference Room. The next regular public meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 5, 2022, at 1 p.m. at the Administration Center, 399 Stadium Drive, Sunbury, Pennsylvania. The Prison Board meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 6, 2022, at 11 a.m. at the Administration Center, 399 Stadium Drive, Sunbury. A motion is needed for the Commissioners to sign the state tax equalization voucher for transfers of real estate for the month of January 2022, as submitted by the Assessment Office.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to approve the employees' status sheet of new hires, individuals no longer employed, promotions, demotions, and transfers as items number 1 through 18.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to approve the following reports as listed on your public meeting agenda.
Moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to authorize a payment in the amount of $250 to the City of Sunbury Code Office for rental property renewal registrations.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to authorize the payment of $632.50 for the expert report prepared by KPI Technology, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed authorizing the chairman to sign the Northumberland County phone service contract with ITC Global Networks, LLC, doing business as Iron Ton Global for a 60-month period from April 2022 to April 2027. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to reappoint Frank Marcinick to the Northumberland County Housing Authority due to the resignation of Kevin Gilroy.
Should be restated as a motion to accept the resignation of Kevin Gilroy, and then a motion to reappoint Frank Marcinick. So there should be, the beginning of this should be a motion to accept the resignation of Kevin Gilroy.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, the only thing I'd like to state then, Frank, is that Frank will take over Kevin's term. So I think there's like a year and a half left on that term.
That's correct.
Okay. On the question, anybody else? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed authorizing the Office of Veterans Affairs to purchase 30,096 flags to be placed in the graves of veterans throughout Northumberland County on Memorial Day 2022 for a total cost of $24,026.32. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Motion carries.
Motion is needed to authorize the grant agreement with the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, PEMA, in the amount of $46,065.62 as of 2021 911 statewide interconnectivity funding to be used towards the CSR Northumberland CAD maintenance and Northumberland County PSA NG 911 conformance projects ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion is needed authorizing travel requests and attendance at the following workshop seminar as in accordance with the county's personnel manual travel reimbursement policy as listed on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion is needed authorizing the execution of the new state parole revocation appeals contract with Michael Fiorelli Esquire on behalf of the Special Conflicts Office for the period of 3/1/22 to 2/28/23.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
A motion is needed to approve the exoneration of the Northumberland County taxes for the year 2021 for the following properties: 30 West 3rd Street, Mount Carmel, 007-02-004-101; 34 West 3rd Street, Mount Carmel, 007-02-004-102; and 26-30 South Pear Street, Mount Carmel, 007-02-004-096, currently owned by the Mount Carmel Borough.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion is needed to approve the change order G-11 to provide first floor ceiling soffits and bulkheads to conceal HVAC piping in courtroom number 3 and the sheriff's office in the amount of $24,303.08 for the Northumberland County Courthouse exterior rehabilitation and HVAC electrical project.
Moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion needed to approve change order G-12 to repair existing attic floor joists and also provide floor reinforcement for the new HVAC equipment in the amount of $7,740.30 for the Northumberland County Courthouse exterior rehabilitation and HVAC electrical project. This work is located above courtroom number 2 and is necessary per discovery of existing conditions that were hidden by finished ceilings, floor plankings, and plastered walls.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to allocate $85,000 of Act 137 funds to Mountainside Estates LLC to complete work on the facility's landscape and aesthetic features as recommended by the Northumberland County Affordable Housing Fund Board.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to permit Planning Coordinator Justin Scavery to act as a signatory for an agreement with MECTEC Incorporated to act as the primary reviewing engineer for selected plans.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion is needed to permit Planning Coordinator Justin Scavery to act as signatory for an agreement with Dewberry Companies Incorporated to act as secondary reviewing engineer for selected plans.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve the subsidiary agreement with the County of Union for County Broadband Project of the Appalachian Regional Commission ARC grant ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve an internship agreement between Bloomsburg University and the County of Northumberland. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion to authorize the execution of Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency grant on behalf of Northumberland County Juvenile Probation.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to authorize the execution of Amendment Number 4 to the Food Service Agreement on behalf of the Northumberland County Prison.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to authorize the execution of Amendment Number 1 in the Inmate Telephone Service Agreement on behalf of the Northumberland County Prison. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to authorize the execution of inmate agreement with Snyder County and the Northumberland County Prison.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to authorize the execution of the inmate agreement with Union County and the Northumberland County Prison.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt budget amendments as listed on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Motions need to approve the following certificates of service proclamation and letter. Proclamation Library Week, April 3 through 9 of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Solicitor, report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to adopt Resolution R12-22, resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with the Highway Safety Network, HSN, for distribution of the following PennDOT grants: Police Traffic Services Program in District 3-0 Community Safety Project, and identifying Justin Scavery, Coordinator of Planning and Economic Development, as the authorized official for Northumberland County.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion's carried.
Motion to adopt Resolution R13-22, agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Human, Senior, and Social Services and the named service providers as listed, numbers 1 through 6. The above agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports are not with county employees, nor does their organizational contract list county employees as principals in their corporation or on their board of directors, with the exception of contracts with CSO. Controller Chris Grayson and District Attorney Matt Levitch are members of the CSO board.
Moved.
Second.
The question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R14-22, resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Northumberland County Commissioners and the Northumberland County Housing Authority, authorizing the authority to undertake the Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD-funded housing projects and engage CEDA, Council of Governments, to complete the environmental reviews.
Second.
The question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
At this time, we call for any old business. Seeing none. New business.
Okay, the first, under new business, Karen, as I came in, it didn't get put on the agenda, but we'd like to thank all caseworkers. This is evidently National Social Work Month, and we would like to thank all caseworkers in all our departments for their hard work and appreciate all they do for the county. So on behalf of all three commissioners, I guess we don't have to announce a proclamation because it's already done. We just want to like to thank all our workers. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Public input? Done.
Thank you all very much for allowing me to speak today. My name is Megan Beck. I'm with the Susquehanna Valley Community Education Project, which is the group founded to establish a community college for our region. I have a few fellow board members here today and our executive director. I know you're aware of this project. It is an unparalleled project to provide improvement to our economy in our region. But I'm here to address the comments that were made last month that perhaps we don't need our own community college or it might have some sort of negative effect on the region. First of all, community colleges are usually core to most regions' economic development and the economic educational fabric of the regions. A community college is a unique hybrid between a trade school, a junior college, providing continuing education, certificate classes, two-year programming, and it isn't necessarily, all of those aren't available easily through our current higher education system. Secondly, our options don't come close to meeting the existing demand. When Williamsport Area Community College closed, they were serving 8,000 students, and currently, like Lackawanna College in Sunbury is only serving 70 students, Watsontown Luzerne location serving about 50. But there are 7,800 high-priority jobs that are going unfulfilled each year in our region. And Erie County Community College, for instance, which just started last fall, had 250 open seats, for which they had 1,300 people on a waiting list. They have plenty of other educational opportunities in that area. But the key thing is a community college fills a niche, which we hope to also fill. Third, vocational technical schools, similarly like Sun Tech, have technical reasons they can't provide adult programming effectively. Regardless, the priority needs to be the K through 12 students. Likewise, Luzerne County Community College exists primarily to serve Luzerne County, not our Susquehanna Valley, and has limited offerings here and few which don't require commuting in order to complete. Lackawanna, which is a private college, has an acceptance rate of only 35%, a tuition rate nearly 3 times that of a community college. Susquehanna University, Bucknell University, and Northumberland County Career and Technical Center have all written letters of support for the project, which mention the opportunity for partnerships, and that's what we're here to do, to be a bridge, to create partnerships. They see us as a potential partner and not competition. How many low-income, parenting, non-traditional, or GED students do you think are attending Bucknell and Susquehanna? It's really only a handful because I've been speaking with those folks recently to see what the case is there. And yet, it was claimed that those are both affordable and valid alternatives to an open enrollment community college. Let me give you a couple local examples of a couple people I know. I know a single mom who's racked up $18,000 in student loan debt trying to get a 2-year degree at Lackawanna and is still without a degree. I know a woman raising a family in Shamokin who's unable to commute to Carlisle to get a certification she needs to start her business. I offered to pay half of her schooling needs, but yet she could not manage the childcare and transportation. I have a blue-collar gentleman who lives in one of my apartments. He does not have a vehicle. He does laundry at a local nursing home. He is a very sweet man. He has donated 3 times to this project because he believes it is so important for other people. He doesn't see himself as a community college student. However, I would disagree with him because with a certification, he could potentially be earning double what he's earning right now, and he would be spending that money right here. These are just some of the stories of our community members who need a truly affordable and local opportunity. The funds which we as local taxpayers would put into this community college will be matched by the state, bringing $1.2 million of investment here every year, which would otherwise go somewhere else. This is the best grant we could possibly apply for since no one else is looking to put a community college of our own here. In the next month, we look forward to presenting 1,000 surveys, which we have collected over the past 2 months, in addition to the 4,000 petition letters you've received, and in addition to the many letters of support you received from municipalities, school districts, businesses, and community organizations. So I and this tireless group of community advocates and many others who I'm lucky enough to represent are excited to see you make this happen for the Valley as only you can. We look forward to you moving from being supporters to advocates of this project. $78 million in economic growth and 3,000 graduates over the first 10 years would truly be a game changer, not only for our region, but also for the individuals who would attend and have the chance to change the course of their lives, and for those employers that they would support. So, as always, I'm here to answer any questions. Our entire board is at your disposal anytime you would like to speak with us, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, for presenting that. We had some other college come last time, and we welcome you to come. I know Joe is our go-to guy with you guys, so continue any correspondence with him, okay? Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Tony?
Chairman Chickatano, Commissioner Claiborne, Commissioner Best. As you're aware, we met several times since the summer about potentially getting more help in the district attorney's office because of the increased caseload. As you're also aware, because I believe you've been at the chiefs meeting, I have a bi-monthly chiefs meeting with all the chiefs of police. I've been keeping them apprised that I've been meeting with the commissioners. We're at first weren't making much progress, but it seemed like we might be close to something. And in the meantime, I lost one individual who handled Judge Gembick's office, who had 893 cases through a magisterial district judge, which is absolutely unheard of. You could ask court administrator, that is, I can't say it's the most in the state, but I can't imagine anything being higher than that. But we've seen an increase, and we've met, and I appreciate the meetings, but at the bi-monthly chiefs meeting, the chiefs asking me how it's going, I don't have an answer for them anymore. The fact that we lost an ADA for another job, the fact that we lost a first assistant within 2.5 months is beginning to put a strain on the ability for us to communicate with the police. And there's a lot of things we do that aren't in court. There's a lot of phone calls. There are, consensualized wiretaps. There's search warrants that have to go through the county. There's appeals. Those are the biggest. The appeals never hit the paper. I mean, they might make a little blurb, but they take half a week to do an appeal. I could work to death because I ran for this office. So I could run 100 hours a week, and I have no business being here asking you for more. But I also have a duty to the public when I see what's coming. And what I see what's coming is we don't have the ability to attract and retain attorneys at the existing rate. I had 7 people leave the office in 4 years. I believe Tony Rosini in 18 and a half had 3, maybe 4, but I think 3. Well, 4, one was cut by a salary board decision. But I'm just here to publicly state, I was urged by the chiefs to publicly state months before, and this, I didn't organize this. This is organic. They did this. They sent me notice that they were coming. So I'm not here to jump anyone. I get along with all of you. I think you all agree with me. And I know the position you're in financially. I was on borough council. I was in the same position. 80% of your job is saying no to people who want more money. I get that. I understand that. And I know when you give a position, everybody else, it rings the dinner bell. They all come running. But my office's budget was less in 2021 than 2015. And I believe that's a fact that you verified. It's pretty much been stagnant. I've done my part to hold the line. But I can't keep people. And when we do turnover, when we have turnover, Rich Amy left almost 600 cases. Now, COVID was a piece of that, but it still would have been about 400 and some. When Julia left, she left about 335. A lot of those are sex cases. They require a different type of approach to the victim. They're very time intensive. Those just can't get picked up by somebody, you know, and they already worked on them from 1 day old to 1 day from being finished. They're in various stages of prosecution. So it's very difficult to hand that to a new person on your first day of work. Here's 600 cases that are in all different stages. Also, it's hard to split them up among the people that already work there. It's also impossible for me to take them because I have so many other things to do. So the chiefs urged me to come here, and they were coming with or without me. But I chose to come forward to explain the issue I'm having with the police. There's so many things we do outside the scope of court and court schedules that deal with the police. There's charges that never get filed. There's charges where we say don't charge this, but charge these other 2 things. There's a lot of interaction with the police that go into pre-charging. There's negotiations. There's hearings. But I want to make three facts known to the board and to the public. The caseload from 2015 to 2021 went up approximately 150%. The budget went down a couple dollars, not much, but it's pretty much flat. But it is a little bit less than it was in 2015. There's no way I could ask people to work for me to do 1.5 times the workload and achieve the same quality of service to the police, because we basically work for the police. We're basically the attorneys for the police. I mean, not 100% that. We have our own ethics guidelines and our own constitutional space there. But we pretty much are attorneys for the police to prosecute the charges the police file. So I only have one detective part-time. But it's getting to the point where I can't fill the positions. When Gerald Wen's paying $52,000 a year, and an attorney who has to go to college for 7 years and then pass the bar is getting $50,000. It's very hard to compete. There used to be a step program in the union contract, and I know that's between the unions and they negotiate that. But I just envision the office having a turnover, which does waste taxpayer dollars because they work on the cases and then they leave. And I can't blame them. They're not leaving for $1 more an hour. They're leaving for $9,400 for $20,000. I have many qualified, well, about 4 really qualified candidates, but they'll do the hours, but they don't want to work 5 days a week because they need to keep a second job. I'd be able to do that if I had another position. And we went through a whole bunch of different scenarios. I really don't think anything's going to work but another position. And I know as soon as, if you would grant it for me, you'd have every other department saying, where's my position, where's my position? But I would ask those departments, did they hold their budget static for 6 years? Did their caseload go up 150%? I mean, for every 2 cases, now you have 3. Plus, we're on a record level of murders. So the police chiefs gave me the necessary kick in the rear end to get forward and tell the public of what we're looking at. Now, we've held it together. I'm pretty sure we're still doing a good job. But I just see what's coming down the road. It's getting increasingly harder and harder and harder to keep up with this. And the office really needs another position. And I think it's warranted, given there's a 150% increase. And I've held the budget static. I've held the line on the budget. I didn't waste money. I turned money back. I think the first year I turned like 100 and some thousand back. I wouldn't be here if it didn't get to this point, where now the chiefs are concerned because of the turnover, because who's handling this case, who's handling that case. And like I said, I'd be happy to, I wouldn't say happy, but I would work 100 hours a week because I asked for this job. I asked to be elected to this job, so I'll do whatever it takes. But there's a limit on that too. You know, there's only so many hours in a week. But I can't ask my people who, you know, have lives and contracts to do free work, which is what, quite frankly, what Rich Amy and what Julia Skinner did. They did do a lot of work and they never put in for the time. So I'm respectfully requesting that the commissioners would consider, or the salary board would consider, and the commissioners, well, the salary board doesn't matter without the funding. Doesn't matter if a position's created if the funding isn't there. So ultimately, it would be the commissioners to consider allocating those funds, because everything the police do bottleneck through the DA's office. So they're here to tell you that the crime didn't slow down at all with the pandemic. It went up. Crime doesn't stop. Weekends, holidays don't matter. The crime keeps coming, and we are holding it together, and we have a good plan here, but the horizon is scary because the crime's just going through the roof. And we need to be able to have prosecutors here that are going to work with the police and not changing out every 2 years. To lose 7 people in 4 years is a big hit. It's a lot of redundancy in there. And again, I'm limited to the amount of hours. So I would respectfully request that the commissioners consider that. Thank you. And I believe Chief Psycho would like to address the commissioners. Thank you.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Tony, I want to start off by apologizing. Tony had no idea what was going on when a couple of us talked after a meeting about what has been happening in the district attorney's office, so I apologize. I'm not here to complain and moan and anything else. I'm here just for the brass tack reasons of things. We're well informed that Mr. Matalevich has been telling us that he's been meeting with you guys in reference to this position with the district attorney's office. I understand you are aware of what's going on, and I understand for the most part the money situation that happens. Here, of course, at a larger scale than we're dealing with. But my city's poor, so I pretty much know what's going on. The district attorney's office, and it's gotten to a point, and I can't speak for these other chiefs, my city with the crime rate that we're having, murders, gun calls, and stuff like this, it isn't only arrest somebody and then we go to court and the district attorney's office takes over. It's hours. I don't know how many times just myself have talked to this man 10, 11 o'clock at night for 2-3 hours over cases because of several reasons. Number one, we have no one else to go to. Number two, he's busy doing his trial work in his cases as well as I am at work, and it's the only time we're able to talk. The DA's job isn't just a 7 to 3 job. I've been at this man's house at midnight to get wiretap paperwork signed. It's continuously and ongoing. The thing that's affecting my department is there's cases where we need the legal guidance of the attorney from the district attorney's office. And we're having problems, and nothing against the office. It's because of time restraints. We're trying to speak with an ADA. They're in trial. We're trying to speak with an ADA. They're handling magisterial court. We're losing that communication, which is prolonging prosecution. In a normal situation, people think you arrest somebody and then they go to jail. It don't happen. I'm involved in a murder case. I'm involved in a vehicular homicide case where I have been working very closely with Mr. Matalevich. The second part with losing Julia, up until a couple months ago, I would handle all our sexual crimes that occurred within the city. Ms. Skinner was phenomenal when it came to this, okay? You can sit and you can talk to her and explain the situations that we had, but it's so much victim-oriented, where I know for a fact I've witnessed her sit down with victims. We don't have that anymore, but our sex crimes are going up. Just the point in general of the district attorney's office, not only is it cases we're handling, it's additional cases that I know for a fact in our city that I'm sending them. There's some cases that just may be a conflict. I have to send them on to the district attorney's office. I know he has a part-time detective. Also, with that being said, I have questions, legal questions, that there are times I, as the chief, needs guidance. That's the office I go to. And again, understand about budgets. I understand that. Not as well as you guys do, but I understand that. And by no means, I don't want anyone to think that we barged in here and we're going to pound the tables and we're going to demand you. We don't do that. I personally, in the way I spoke to the other chiefs, was I wanted to come here just to explain our side of it. And I know you guys get to hear what goes on, but now it's coming from the horse's mouth. The position that Mr. Matalevich needs is crucial. I mean, there's just no getting around it. It's crucial. And as Mr. Matalevich said, our crimes are only going up. I can only account for the city. Our crimes are through the roof. We're averaging anywhere between 19 and 35 calls a shift. With that, there's arrests. With that, there's questions. As Mr. Matalevich mentioned, we need to call the district attorney's office. Should we charge this way? This is what we have. What's our next step to move on? We want to start at the bottom, preparing this case for trial. And that's where our district attorney's office comes into so much play with us. But we just don't have, I guess what I'm trying to say is the access to them anymore because we don't have the people. I understand Mr. Matalevich is saying about turnover. I'm not going to, whatever. You know, there's people that will do the job for $50,000. There's people that will do the job for $20,000. I understand that. It's all about money now. I do understand that. I've seen it in my department. Officers left to go to better pay. Okay, I don't fault them for it. It's the way it is. If you have to leave to move on, best of luck to you. In a situation like this, just the cases alone, I worked with Mr. Amy on multiple cases. Now we're back to zero because a new ADA's taken over, and I have to sit and go over witness information with them. I have to go over my stuff with them. And we can't get to them because there's so little of them. Again, thank you, and I do understand. I just wanted to come at least voice my concern with what I have, and quite honestly to support Mr. Matalevich because with him and his office, they do a phenomenal job. And I said, I can honestly say on a weekly basis, 2-3 nights, I'm on the phone with this man about cases after hours. So again, I understand Mr. Matalevich made his point. I appreciate it. Me personally, I don't want to speak for the other officers. I'm here just to show the support for our district attorney's office. They're good people, but on the other end, they're mounds of help and wealth of information to us. So do you have anything for me?
Let me just say, I appreciate, we've been talking to Tony for months, but I appreciate the way the officers have all come in an orderly fashion, respectful, and bringing a point that we understand, and we've been working on it. And Commissioner Best is more involved with the courts, And the one thing you're hitting is right. Just this morning, from 9 o'clock till now, we have met with 3 departments whose concern is if they don't get, some other people don't get more money, they're going to leave. One of them is involved with the courts, right? But the courts also.
Well, we have the Public Defender's Office in. I mean, their caseload is up, of course. It's not every single one-for-one, but it's up. You know, and Ed's part-time, but he's been working more like a full-time basis. And we had an EMS coordinator. There's value there. There's years and experience and tradition, and he might have to move on. And the sad thing is we don't know who will replace them. We've been on the verge at public safety, and I mean, Commissioner Claiborne can speak because that's his department, but we've been threatened with the reality of there might not be a dispatcher at night at certain times if we don't have somebody working 16 hours because nobody wanted the job. So we do understand, we hear you. I mean, we even, you know, Mr. District Attorney Tony, today your name came up, of course, because Ed's there. So we're looking at how many felony cases. He had the whole list for us, as you did. And we know you're on the opposite side of that. It is extremely, extremely stressful. But we do really appreciate the way that you've come in here in solidarity, but like the chairman said, respectfully, and that you seem to understand where we're coming from as well.
Absolutely, Commissioners. It's not that we don't understand, and I knew you were going to bring up the point because, you know, I'm involved in the 911 part of things and stuff like that. I know the issues that are laying ahead of us, and your 911 issue is a whole different ballgame because it's the same way. You need staffing to fulfill their needs. It's the same way that Mr. Matalevich is involved, and it's unfortunate, and I was once a dispatcher. I'm not taking anything away from them, but we're talking a person who's getting trained to be a 911 dispatcher compared to a person going to school and becoming an attorney. This is like, as much as they're our lifeline, he's our lifeline when it comes to legal measures.
I mean, I do have to say, as an attorney, when I found out what the caseload is for the average ADA, I had to say to myself, like, that's huge, okay? Because as attorneys on the outside, when we report for our malpractice, and you know this, we have to tell them on an average, you know, what's our caseload. And they really don't like to see anything above 100 or so cases. So, you know, when you talk about how many ADAs you have divided by 800 in some cases, and some are murders and felony cases, you know, dangerous cases, you know, that's a concern. And I do hear what you're saying about needing information immediately in real time. I guess I'm only adding this to say that we're all interconnected. It's not that we don't understand, but when you have a problem, Children and Youth has a problem, because these are parents, these are kids that are left neglected, abused, caught up in this drug, right? Okay. So we all in this Northumberland County family are connected. And we don't like to say, well, one's more important than the other. We just see the way it all stitches together. And it is coming apart at the seams, right? And it is our job to do something about it. We recognize that.
I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I wanted to come was, I'm not putting anybody down. We're not going to do that. We're here to maybe try and help with a solution. And talking to the gentleman behind me, they all feel the same way. We're not here to demand anything or yell at you people. We're here to say, is there something on our end that we can do to at least help with this? And I mean, you can take that for what it's worth, but that was our reason for coming today. It wasn't that nonsense of blindsiding. No, we're here just to figure out what we can do to make our system in our county best.
And I think, to speak with that, Tony, all the times we have met with you, we have never said no. We've been trying to work it out, and we're still trying to work it out.
And this man has told us that.
Yeah.
He said that he has been having multiple meetings with you folks.
Right.
And we understand. It's the situation we're in right now.
Right.
We just want to see if there's anything we can do on our end to try and help along with it. That's all. But thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. Take care.
And Tony, we'll continue to meet and try to work these things out. Go ahead. Yep.
Being on Mount Carmel Council for 8 years, we were at 27 mills and 30 was our limit. So you guys are in an unenviable position where you're at the millage limit. None of the choices, I mean, there are options, but none of the options are great. So I do understand the position you're in. I'm just asking if there's any way, if there's any efficiencies that you could direct toward the DA's office. I'd greatly appreciate it, because I'd be able to hire some of the folks that want to work here but don't want to work here 5 days a week, who want a day off to do private stuff. They'll still work the hours. I can't work that in right now because the court schedule is jammed. We're doing Monday and Friday guilty pleas and sentencings. Tuesdays and Wednesdays we're at magistrates. Wednesdays are juveniles. I don't have the flexibility. If I had another position, I could hire qualified people who are willing to take the position at that salary, which, believe me, I try to talk them almost out of the job because I don't want them coming in for 6 months and leaving. So I almost try to talk them out of the job. But I have good people, at least one good person that will still take it if they could get a day. But I would need another position to fill that in, because if I give it to one, I got to give it to all. So I'd be jumbling everybody. Well, I'd have to give it to the union members, not the first assistant or the part-time person. I already let the part-time person do it because it's so hard to fill. But if there's anything, any kind of efficiencies or any kind of way you could just look at it, I would greatly appreciate it, and so would the police departments.
Andy, let me just say, on behalf of the commissioners, we promise that we will continue to work with you to try to solve the problem.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.